What's going on, guys? KW Stout, healthmindpower.com. In this video, I'm going to talk about my observations of men versus women in the gym, especially over the last few years. So this is something I've just kind of, I don't know, thought about and talked about with friends, with my wife. And I've actually mentioned it on the blog a few times, but I just never really took the time to do a full article or video about it. So now I did a full article about it, and here's the accompanying video. So really, just to get straight to the point, what I've noticed over the last few years is that, and I'm curious if you guys have noticed this too. I want you to leave a comment and let me know, because I'm really curious if this is just me, or if this is something everyone's noticing. But women are outworking men in the gym now. I mean, women are just more dedicated to their fitness than men are on average. Now, obviously, I would say if you're watching YouTube, or if you train at a powerlifting gym, or some kind of hardcore bodybuilding gym, then yeah, it's easy to you're gonna have a skewed perception. It's gonna seem like there's more men who are more dedicated. But if you're going to the average gym, if you're looking across just all the gyms, looking across the general population, especially if you're training at commercial gyms, it's almost kind of shocking at this point. Now, if you train at a commercial gym and you've never been outside that environment, you might not notice the difference. But so, just a little background on this whole thing. I worked out at Gold's Gym and similar chain gyms like that for many years, up until I guess a year or two ago. I finally decided to go to a real gym. I always thought that was kind of overrated. I've done a whole video about this. I always thought the whole thing was overrated. So I finally joined a real gym and realized, oh, okay, it really makes a huge difference. People are way more dedicated. There's better equipment, and the environment is just so much better. And the truth is, not to say that this is the only reason, but the truth is I've gotten way better results since working out at those kind of gyms. But I haven't really spent any time in commercial gyms in the last couple of years. I've worked out in hotel gyms and things like that. But so just a few weeks ago, I was in California, and I had to train at this LA Fitness for a few days, and it was very surprising that I thought. I mean, it was such a night and day experience. I mean, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I would never want to have to work out at the gym like that all the time. But yeah, I was really surprised. I mean, the guys were just, all the guys in there, it's like they just didn't, they weren't even really putting in any effort. They were just so lazy, and so it just seemed like just kind of checking it off their list for the day, and that's it. A lot of them were just kind of standing around, playing on their phones and stuff. There was no intensity. There was just no energy, really. And the thing is, the vibe of the gym just didn't have any energy. I mean, they were playing like Justin Bieber on the radio or whatever. It was cold in there. It just wasn't fun. And not to mention the equipment sucked. It was terrible. But what I did notice, while there were no guys in there that stood out as guys in in amazing shape or anything, or super strong or anything like that, like I would normally see at the gym I go to, what stood out to me though were that the women actually looked like Instagram models. I mean, there were a lot of women in great shape of all ages too. So, and this is what I noticed before working out at chain gyms. I started to get to a point where I noticed that not only were women actually getting results, whereas I would see the same guys come to the gym over and over and over, and then never see them, there would never be any progress. They're never increasing the weight. They're never looking any different at all. Whereas I would always notice that women, I mean, in a matter of months, they would be progressing. You would see changes. And not only that, but I mean, it just seemed to me like they were putting in way more effort than a lot of the guys were. So then when I started working out at better gyms, and it was not like that. Everyone, man, woman, young, old, out of shape, just getting started or in amazing shape, everyone's putting in a solid effort, and people are focused. They're there to get things done, and it's just completely different. But across the board, right now, today, as it stands, I would say that women are honestly just more dedicated to fitness than men. And you can read the full article to get some more, more insight into why I believe this is the case. But really, what it comes down to, the two things I've noticed, the two big things I've noticed as a coach are, the first one is that women are more likely to invest in themselves than men are, and you'll notice this if you look at women's behavior and other things besides fitness. For example, women are more likely to do things like get manicures and pedicures and massages and this kind of stuff. And you might think, oh, well, that's just, some kind of simple luxury thing. It's really not, it's just how they choose to spend money. But really, if you think about it, those things do take care of their body. And those things, they may be they may be fun things, but they're fun things that actually benefit themselves, as opposed to the type of things that guys spend money on, where guys are just so much less likely to invest in themselves, And even if you look at like college enrollment, millions more women enroll in college, invest in their education than men. Now, I'm not saying that they always invest in the best education, because if you look at statistics, you see that a lot of them are, going after bullshit programs, but it's the attitude they have, that they're investing in themselves. And as a coach, I've noticed that way more women are willing to invest in themselves, and to invest in themselves to get fitness results. I mean, when it comes down to it, guys just not willing to spend hardly any money at all on coaching. Not of course that's not all guys. I'm saying we're just making very generalizations here, okay? Very big generalizations about just the average, okay? So, with that in mind, there are just so many more women that invest in coaching and getting personal trainers, and they're just willing to invest themselves in general more than men are. And another aspect, what is kind of similar, or is kind of related to that, is that women are way more coachable on average. Now, some men, that they're with the deal. They know, hey, if you can tell me how to get what I want, then by all means tell me what to do and I'll do it. But that's not the average guy. Most guys, they say that, but then you give them the plan and they don't follow through with it all the way. They start questioning things. They try to tweak things, because they think they know better, even though they don't have the results. They think they know better. Whereas women they're a lot more coachable. They're a lot more honest with themselves about what they don't know. And when they see someone that has the results they want, they're just so much more likely to just basically shut the fuck up and follow the plan. You know what I mean? So, women really, they're just so much more coachable, which is what allows them, if they're a coaching client, they can get better results quicker, because instead of having to go through the whole trial and error of you give them the plan, they follow the plan, then they decide, oh, I'm going to change a couple of things, and then of course the results the results slow down, and then you got to get them back on track, and you got to explain to them why this is, I already thought about that, this is why the plan is this way. Whereas women don't do that. Women just stick to the plan and keep going, and so they get their results faster. So those are two of the things that I've noticed that that help women get better results and faster results than men. But the big thing I really have noticed just by watching people in the gym, and I'm curious if you think this too. If you disagree, I'd love to hear it. But in general, just if you just watch the way that women train in the gym right now, and I'm not saying it's always going to be this way. It definitely wasn't always this way in the past. They just seem to want it more. I've been noticing that over the last 5 or 6 years, where I'm genuinely impressed. I see, because I've been in the gym for over a decade, so I've gone from seeing women who go in there and they're just real careful about everything and real timid, and they don't really want to touch the weights too much. They just want to kind of stick to the cardio. And I've watched as women have evolved from doing that to actually squatting and deadlifting and training for real, and actually really changing their body in a great way. And I've noticed that you can just look in their eyes and you can see it. They just want it more. They really do. I mean, I really believe on average, women are pushing themselves in the gym more than men are, which is funny because you would think men would be doing that because that's kind of what we're known for, or that's, supposedly, I guess that's how it was before. But men they've gotten softer, and women, I think now that they've learned that they can get the body they want through lifting weights, that it's not going to turn them into a bulky, manly looking woman, they're just all in on it now. Whereas guys, we've known for decades that we could get the body we want by lifting weights, and yet guys are more likely to just kind of half-ass their workouts and focus more on things that don't matter, like supplements. So anyways, that's just my observation, just my thoughts. I'm really curious, though. I want to hear what you think about this. I want to hear what everyone else thinks about this, because, like I said, it's just my observation over the last few years. But I'm just curious how many people agree and how many people disagree. I know some guys are probably going to get a little upset. And if you get upset by this, you're probably one of those guys that's half-assing it, because, of course, there are, tons and tons of guys who are going in there killing it. I mean, the gym I go to, all the guys who show up, no matter what shape they're in, they're putting in hard work. So it's no disrespect to guys or anything like that. So I mean, I'm putting in the work. So but anyways, yeah, leave a comment, let me know, and that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.